Hey guys, welcome to my first YouTube video. My name is Bethany. So a little backstory about me. I originally started writing a blog called Manifest with Bethany. I felt like manifesting and manifestation was a very big part of my life and really helped me throughout probably one of the toughest times I've been through. Which led to me making videos on Instagram to now me trying to reach a bigger audience on YouTube. Um, this page is really gonna focus on not just manifesting and wellness and spirituality, but I also do want to focus on the social issues that have been happening around the world. I currently have a sociology degree, so I feel like I know a little bit about social issues. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but your girl knows a little thing or two. Okay, guys, so for this video, I'm starting off one of my segments called Tea Time.
Tea time.
So, so Tea Time is going to be the videos that I talk about the social issues that are going around. That are currently happening?
Yes,
it currently is. Happening, going around, currently happening.
It is a pleasure to be on the first Tea Time. I'm Mikeem, Bethany's boyfriend.
I didn't even introduce him. He just jumped right
in. I did. So, yeah, we're going to see what this Tea Time is all about.
So, since you jumped right in, you want to explain what this video is about?
So, we're going to be covering, a lot of important issues in the world, the Black Lives Matter movement, interracial relationships. You're gonna ask a couple questions, to her. She can ask me some questions. We're gonna cover a lot of ground today. So without further ado,
I guess here we go.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so we don't have actual tea.
No.
But we have iced tea.
Ghetto iced tea at that. Still good.
With a little something in it. If you catch my drift.
All right.
Okay, cool. But in all seriousness. Do you want to talk about what's going on in the world currently?
Yes. Everybody's been tuning in to social media, the news, seeing, Black Lives Matter written on streets, and, different, lots of craziness in the world, with African Americans and people of color, being not treated fairly for the last, 400 plus years, so it's like people of color, African Americans are finally taking a stand toward, any negativity, rest in peace to, George Floyd, who had to die for this whole thing to spark, outrage. But, I feel like we're making a lot of progress one day at a time.
George Floyd obviously isn't the only life that was lost.
Of course not. It's
even in recent
it seems
months.
Like every other day it's something adding on to the fire, to the fuel.
Breonna Taylor murdered in her own home. George Floyd, obviously, similar to an Eric Garner situation that happened in Staten Island, in 2014. Robert Fuller, who was recently lynched in California.
Yes.
Just
it's a long list of, people whose lives have been taken, by just selfishness of others, but
not even just selfishness, just plain bias and prejudice and racism that is just passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, sadly. And I feel like it's our job as the older generation to pass down the knowledge of all these people to the younger generations and, let, them be aware that it's not okay. Racism is not okay. None of this is okay. So us being in a interracial relationship, how do you view it as? I know a lot of people will view it as a negative thing, us not sticking with our own race and things like that. And How do you see it as?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I would say definitely. I don't know if you guys can hear them in the background, but that's our cat trying to escape out of the room currently. So if you hear any scratching on the door, promise you there's no one hidden in the room.
He's crazy.
He's just really upset that we locked him up.
He is a strong cat. Yo, I'm telling you about to bust through the door. Sorry about that.
So what were we saying? Oh, what I was going to say is, now I feel like, you know what it is? It's crazy because, interracial relationships where the man is black and the woman is white or light skin or lighter color, like that is not as taboo as it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, if a black girl likes a white man, it's like all hell breaks loose.
It's like the end of the world. I've seen that.
I just never understood that, like at all.
I feel like it has to do a lot with the black culture and not being accepting of, somebody, a different race dating,
But then why is it okay for a man to date out of his race, but a
exactly.
woman not to?
It's not. It's, it's really a sexist thing. We live in a sexist world, unfortunately, where a lot of these things aren't being discussed, but long story short, it isn't right. It should be the same playing field, both ways. But speaking, for me, I feel like it's all about who you're compatible with, being a different race or not. As long as you find that connection and, it's healthy, it's not anything toxic, it's all for the best. And it's like, that's what you need to go for. Not always about race.
Okay, so when it comes to, obviously every relationship has their own expectations and their own boundaries.
Yes.
Being black and me being Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever, do you feel like there's different boundaries within our relationship than other relationships? Like, let's say if you're like the same culture, race.
I mean, we come from different backgrounds, and I've already expected that coming into the relationship. So it's just like, it's all about accepting it and learning, both sides. You don't want to just go into it level-headed, just, so negative. I feel like it's just all about learning, the person you're dating and, learning their background. And I guarantee you'll find a lot of positive things that can come out of it,
Okay, so going back to boundaries, right?
Yes.
When it comes to the N-word, I personally don't say it.
Strong word, guys. Strong word.
So I personally don't say it because I find it offensive because I am not black. I am very light skinned. I'm white.
You're very light skinned.
But do you feel like being in an interracial relationship, like that person, quote unquote, gets like a pass for it?
No, I don't think so. I really respect you for not using it, I feel like it should just be kept in the African American community. A lot of people do think it's like a cool word to say, or, but it's a lot of hurt and harm behind that word. We can't ignore it at all and just act like there isn't. So I feel like African Americans should just be able to use that word.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but I just hear Dicker in the background.
He's in the back going crazy.
Just meowing away.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Gotta get this video done.
Please continue.
But take a little sip of this sign. Yeah. But in all seriousness, it should just be left to the African American community. Just don't use it. there's more than enough words in the dictionary that you can look up, you know, to greet your friends or anything like that. But just leave the word, just leave it alone. All right, so speaking on, you know, racism and the N word, so for our younger generation, you know, I feel like we should worry more about them because they're going to be seeing all this in like textbooks and things like that in the future.
We are literally living in
We're
a textbook
literally
era.
You know, textbook era right now, which is crazy. History repeats itself, unfortunately. But how would you, you know, have a talk to your nieces or your little cousins about like everything going on, you know, with racism and everything? Like, how would you sit them down and address it?
Well, I do have 2 younger nieces. I also have a young cousin, as you know. They're all around the same age.
Yes.
They're the same age as your daughter.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because if you think about it, we would be having 2 completely separate, different conversations.
Yes, we would. We would. When you think about it, which is crazy, and just thinking about it, it's just like, wow.
It's sad.
It is sad, honestly, that you would have to address it 2 separate ways instead of it being like.
For me, I would have to explain to my cousins and my nephew, my cousins and my nieces, sorry, that they're white, they have privilege, and that there's people in the world who unfortunately don't get the same opportunities that you and are not seen the same, and it's not fair.
No, it's not.
And I would have to teach them basically how to like become an ally and support them, which it shouldn't be because like everyone should be on the same level.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, I would have to literally build my daughter's confidence up to live in a world, you know, that has racism, you know, that, you know, since she's going to be a, you know, young woman at one point in time, like when she gets a little older, is that, you know, she's not going to be treated fair, you know, even, you know, working, anything's like, she's not going to be able to just like have it like that. She got to work, you know, 10 times harder to have it because she doesn't have that white privilege at all. So it's definitely 2 different, you know, 2 different sides, you know.
2 different completely conversations to be had.
Yeah, literally.
For children the same age.
Yeah. And for them to have to like grasp that and try to like, I don't know, just grow up in a world like 2 different like sizes is crazy to me. But
speaking of white privilege, have you ever felt that there was a time that I have benefited from my white privilege and you have not? Like being out in public or just in general? Maybe at work when we work together?
Thankfully not, you know. I feel like I keep a close eye on those kind of things, and you would know when it would, you know, it would happen. But, you know, maybe it's where we live. You know, we live in upstate New York. Maybe if we were to travel elsewhere and, you know, experience different cultures, maybe, who knows? But where we live right now, it's like everything is pretty, you know, fair game.
It's good to know that I haven't been blind.
No, not at all. No, you're not.
Could have happened.
No, not at all. I would have, you know, let you know or addressed it myself, you know, and made it be known as like it's not fair, which everybody should. Don't sit back and let things like that happen. Like address it, be heard, you know. So, growing up in your household, right? Was racism discussed at all? Like, did you have like a conversation with your mom, or was there like an instance where, you know, you witnessed any type of racism or anything like that?
Okay, so I grew up with a white stepfather who was pretty racist. I'm not gonna lie. We've never discussed racism. Like racism wasn't like an actual topic. But there were times where like he would make racist comments or make racist jokes, and like when I was younger, I didn't know.
Yeah, of course, it went over your head.
Yeah. But as I got older, you know, I was able to see the blatant racist that he was. But yeah, honestly, like, I'm surprised at how I didn't
like
grow up.
into,
like, yeah,
into
like I didn't
like
really have
yeah.
like the internalized racism that most people have growing up in like that type of environment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really different, you know, when you're a child, you know, raised around that kind of stuff. Like, for me personally, I've never experienced racism, like, growing up. I've always had, even to this day, I have friends who are, you know, white, and I never thought of them just as being like white. No, they're my friends. You know, we've been friends since we've been, you know, younger. So I've never seen anybody just skin color. It's just like, oh, a white person. Oh, Mexican. Oh, this, that, and the third. It's just, you know, I've never encountered like racism at like a young age. Definitely when I became older, yes, you know, being racially profiled by the police, and it's always the police. It was never anybody else but the police, which is a problem. It is like it shouldn't be like that. We should feel like protected and like safe around the police instead of like fearing for our lives at this point in time, which it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that the people that you're supposed to trust your life with is the one who's doing a lot of the killing and
taking over a lot of lives and of a lot of innocent people, you know.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, this is all the time that we have for today.
It's been a pleasure, tea time.
Yes, it has been. You know, follow us on Instagram. What is my Instagram? Bethany CXOX. We also have Manifest with Bethany as well.
I'll have everything down below. Follow me on Instagram, Wake Up Flow Sean. Sooner or later, I'll have my own content. Look out for me. I'll be somewhere on YouTube. Somewhere, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Somewhere in there. You'll find it.
Like, subscribe,
comment,
hit that notification bell if you're interested in more topics. Like I said, I don't just want to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Multifaceted.
Yes.
You know.
You are.
So we're gonna have all different content on here.
Yeah.
Well,
you are. You
well, you will be brought back.
Yes, I'll be back.
Plenty of times. I live with him, so he's not going anywhere.
I'm right next door. Yeah. It's been real, YouTube. Peace. Cheers.